When I was a young lad growing up in deepest, darkest North Wales back in the 80s, more often than not, most evenings and every weekend, I would not get fed at home because I grew up in poverty. My family were very, very poor. And if it wasn't for free school meals, then I would have ended up a very sick little boy. And we're talking malnourishment here. That's how bad things were. But thanks to my determination and the opportunity given to me by the British Army, I clawed my way out of that shithole. But this video isn't about me feeling sorry for myself thanks to my childhood. This video is about free school meals. Now, we all know who Marcus Rashford is. He is a Manchester United football player. He is a multi-millionaire. And he is mostly known for a campaign aimed at keeping poor kids fed and free school meals, which I think is quite honourable and fair play to the fella. Now, I support free school meals because if it wasn't for stuff like that, then kids like me would have gone without, and that's a terrible thing. Remember, folks, kids can't get jobs anymore. They're not chimney sweeps. It's not fair on getting kids to have jobs, make ends meet, look for themselves, pay the bills, because they can't. Kids should be kids and have a nice, innocent, worry-free childhood. They shouldn't have to worry about where the next meal's coming from, if they can keep a job. We shouldn't be putting adult pressures on kids. And the least society can do for kids at school is give them free school meals. And yes, I do agree, there are people out there who have kids for the sake of it. And if you can't really afford to have kids, and if you just want a kid to make you feel better and for the state to pay for it, then you shouldn't have it. But alas, kids get born. They don't ask to be born. They haven't got a choice who they're getting born to, whether it's a responsible or an irresponsible parent who couldn't be asked. They don't get a choice in the matter, but they're born. They're here. We don't throw them on the scrap heap. We have to look after them. They have to get fed. They're alive. They're our people. And that's one thing that really irks me, thanks to my own experiences. I can't bear to watch kids going without food. I don't like it. So back to Marcus Rashford. However, looking into him and his own financial activities, he's a bit of a hypocrite. Because it turns out Marcus Rashford is a tax dodger. This is the same guy who is campaigning for the government to pay more money for more free school meals. And remember, this is other people's tax money that he's asking the government to do this with. And it turns out that Marcus Rashford paid himself just under £5,000 from his own multi-million-pound company MUCS Enterprise Limited. Then he gave himself a £950,000 director's loan. This means that he avoids paying tax on that £950,000 and just pays tax on the £4,950. Yes, it's immoral. It's very wrong of him to do that because surely a man on a moral crusade like him wouldn't be dodging tax while telling the government to pour more tax money into his pet project. But the thing is, it's totally legal and the government can change the rules. Now, I'm sure that Marcus Rashford was advised to do this by his financial advisors because being rich is different. They will use legal loopholes to avoid paying taxes and only government rules at HMRC can fix it. So his company money is split into image rights, sponsorship, etc. and paid to an offshore account, avoiding massive UK tax bills. So while he bangs on about what we should be doing with your tax money, then maybe he should pay his fair amount of tax to the UK government so they can fund free school meals during the pandemic. And that's what the guy was campaigning for. So the guy's a massive hypocrite. And sadly, what he's doing is not illegal. And there are many like him. Look at Gary Barlow. Every children in need, every year, he pops up with his piano and tells us all to dig deep for the charity. Meanwhile, he was also found out to have using a tax haven and paid less tax. Now, I don't know how these people have got the front to go on telly and tell hard-working people, who are more often than not finding it really hard to make ends meet, give more money to their pet projects to make them feel better, when they themselves are not paying their fair dues. Now, can you imagine how many free school meals Marcus Rashford could pay for if he paid tax on that £950,000 director's loan? Exactly, makes you sick, doesn't it? And all the while he's expecting you and me to work hard and pay our taxes so he can go into his pet project. Now, I reckon for this, Marcus Rashford should have his MBE taken away for being a hypocrite. What do you think? Please let me know what you think in the comments. And if you'd like to support my channel, then by all means, you can buy me a beer. because YouTube have demonetized my video because I talk about things they don't like. Yet it's okay for them to put adverts on my work and profit from them. And I think that's wrong. Anyway, that's my video. Please comment, share, subscribe, and until my next one, Roger out.